I've heard a lot of people say that Spence was drained and it was an unfair advantage for Crawford. And Crawford said after the fight, I'll fight him next at 154 if that's what he wants. Did the weight cut make a difference for you, or do you see the same result at a higher weight?
Listen, I'm not in his body, but I'll say this. You never saw him affected by the weight. He's always been a big welterweight, but he's still been dominant. He's been in tough fights. And you've never seen him like this. Now, maybe this was the time finally it happened for him where the weight became an issue. I don't know. But like I said, he's been a big welterweight for a long time, a long career, and never before did you see the weight affect him or his performance. If it was the weight, you never saw this happen to him before. And because he's never been in there with somebody of this level of ability. And what I said earlier, he's different. He's the one thing where I can't put a lot of emphasis on the weight is, and again, I don't know. Only they know. But he still was too easy to hit, even early, before that would have taken place.
I'm with you. I don't think the weight cut made a difference.
Before it could have got to that place, he was still.
Yeah.
The speed was a big difference right away. Before we could even get to thinking about is he belabored by the loss of weight. He was getting hit too easily, found too easily. His punches were more. His punches were like regular punches, where the other guys are timed or faster or coming where you don't see them. Where his punches, you could see everything coming. Again, if it's the weight, maybe it happens later. But early on, you saw the things I'm talking about, that he was easy to hit. Speed difference was obviously there. And I'll tell you the X factor, Ken, that I talked about before the fight. Crawford's a junkyard dog. He's nasty. I don't mean as a person. I mean in that ring. And I obviously don't mean it literally, but just to make the point, as I said earlier, he's a straight up stone killer. And again, his demeanor, and very few people have that, detached from emotion, cold, calculating, all about the job, the mission at hand. And I said it earlier, Sugar Ray Leonard, an original Sugar Ray had that. Very few people have that.
The earlier point I was going to make is he told Stephen A. after the fight, he said, I think in the maybe late first, early second round, Spence hit him with a big overhand shot that he was waiting for, and that Spence appeared to be waiting for. He goes, he cracked me, hit me right on the button, and he goes, it didn't even remotely faze me. I said, oh, if that's all he's got, it's going to be a long night for him. And it was. He didn't seem to, to the point about stopping the fight, it didn't seem like anything Spence landed was even remotely, there was a remote chance that he was going to hurt Crawford with everything he had. He was hitting him with shots at times, and Crawford was just walking right through them. At least that's what I saw. I mean, did you see him land any punches of substance?
No, maybe one, but again, it had no effect, as you just said, because when you're that fighter, part of taking a punch is concentration. Just will and concentration and confidence, belief that the guy can't beat you, that he can't hurt you. Like, you might see a little light, but you immediately say no. You will it away. You refuse to be taken down that corridor that's going to take you to a dark room, which is basically a knockout. And the only time you don't have control over that is when you get hit a blind punch, one that you just don't have time to mentally gear yourself, forge yourself to do what I just described. At the end of the day, it was a masterclass of what the sweet science is all about. And I tweeted this out, my great tweet team, they did an unbelievable job. We got unbelievable numbers all night long, every one of them. I appreciate all of them. I said he's not just a complete package, Ken. You know, we talk about being a complete package. He's the entire store. He's Macy's, Walmart, Targets, Costco's. Throw in Gimbals. Gimbals, nobody, you young guys, you don't remember Gimbals. Gimbals was as big as any of them. But he's all of them, all in one. And he put that on full display. But again, the magic, the glue that pulls all that talent together, that allows that beautiful picture, that beautiful puzzle to be put together and to stay together, is this. The supreme confidence, the belief, the mentality, the mental strength, you know, again, the ability to be cerebral in the middle of chaos, to be calm in chaos, and to see what has to be seen, and to be able to execute it with just millisecond timing. That is the complete package. And that is Crawford.
Well, we've got a ton of other stuff to cover, so I don't want to cut this breakdown short. But one quick question about the future for Crawford: do you think he moves up? If he moves up, do you think he can beat the 154 Charlo?
I mean, there does come a ceiling of how far you can move up. You know, he's moved up, 3-4 weight classes already? 3, I guess. You know, how many more can you move up? Lomachenko moved up 3, but then, you know, he got to his limit. You can see he can't go past lightweight. And he's different. Yep. Crawford's got a different body. He's got a different skeleton that, you know, you can put some mass on it because of how wiry and tall he is, how long his arms are. So he's got a little different structure that way where you can add to it. But there does get to be a limit. But obviously, it depends who the fighter is at that next weight class. I'll put it this way. I don't see any fighter. See, I'll remove the weight for 2 seconds. I don't see any fighter at that next weight class. You mentioned Charlo as a possibility. That is as good as him, close to being as good as him, or capable of beating him. And I don't know that weight is going to change that. That's my answer.
I agree.
I don't know that weight's going to change. I mean, we're not talking about going to heavyweight, but I'm saying another step with who's there. He is so superior. And again, it takes these challenges in his mind to bring out stuff that we had never seen with him before. I knew it was there. I felt I knew it was there. But we seen peaks of it. We seen glimpses of it, parts of it, no doubt, but never all of it. And here's the scary part. I don't know if we've seen all of it yet. And in his mind, he's probably saying, you haven't seen all of it yet. Give me one more challenge and let me open another door in my room, because that's what the great ones think. So I tell you, the only thing that does ring a little bit to me when you ask that question, there's one other thing, and that guy is undefeated. Even Crawford might have trouble with him, and that's Father Time, where, you know, that does play in at some point, and he is 35, 36 years old. That does play in at some point, but I always say, in boxing, you don't judge a guy's age chronologically so much as you do by the amount of punishment they've taken in their career. How many punches they've been hit. How worn are they? Crawford, he's got a lot of tread on the tires. He don't have a lot of miles on the odometer when you look at it that way. He's fresh. So, I don't know. I wish he was 10 years younger, and I mean this, because he's that special that I'd love to see, what other continents he could conquer out there. What other lands he could go and put his flag into that land and saying, okay, this is my land now. I mean, you don't get a chance to see that. You don't get a chance to see that too often.
Who's the best pound for pound? Whose performance was more impressive?
Crawford,
in a way,
listen, I'll tell you right now.
Don't answer yet. Well,
no, I got to tell you, Crawford and Inoue, you could make them 1 and 1A. Is that fair? 1 and 1A, and you could interchange them. I can't put Crawford. I can't put anyone ahead of Crawford. I can't. But I could put Inoue right there on the same shelf as him. I could put him right there, 1 and 1A, or whatever you're comfortable with. He has those traits I talked about with Crawford. Inoue has them. Inoue has them. The ability, the cerebralness, the calm, the eyes, the instincts. He's got all of that.